Hello everybody, welcome back to another All Maverick reaction. We are back with episode 13 of Firefly. Heart of Gold, 2 to go. 2 to go and a movie.
Bittersweet.
I know. We're getting there, aren't we? We're closing in on the end.
Yeah.
So last episode we watched The Message, which was a solid episode, I thought.
Yeah.
Not one of the best. Actually, Brash, it was one of your favourites.
Oh, I
you said,
liked
didn't
it a lot, yes.
Yeah, you liked it a lot. I thought it was solid. It wasn't one of my favourites, but I thought it was decent. I don't think any Firefly episode has dropped below decent. So,
Yeah,
and
I thought
I mean,
true.
not
Thought
a
it'd be
lot
a
of
good
shows
standard.
can say that.
There's been none where
Yeah,
I've gone, that was an absolute turkey.
Yeah, exactly. So, only 2 to go, and then we're going to be moving on to the movie. I had heard that there were some things we should check out before the film, so if anyone's aware of what those might be, drop them in the comments for us below, and we'll make sure if there is some stuff that's video form that's worth us checking out before the film, we'll definitely do that. Right, here we go. Look at that house, it's covered in tinfoil.
So yeah, what's all the tin for?
Push. It's obviously
Oh yeah,
probably
reflects
hot,
the heat.
reflects
Yeah,
the heat.
yeah, that's a good point. Look at that little
Look
speeder.
at that. Look at that, straight out of Star Wars.
I've been told a great many things. I'm here for what's mine.
Ain't nothing here belongs to you.
Find the girl.
She ain't here. Girl left this moon more than a month ago.
Pedaline. It's a good thing. You haven't left with my baby.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, what the hell?
Oh.
I will be back for my baby.
This is much more like a standard brothel than like what Inara does, you know, with like her companion work.
yeah.
She's like a high.
She's like a high-end escort.
Yeah.
Who'd help us?
Oh, they're gonna help the situation.
Do you think it's a connection of Inara's? And
You didn't.
Maybe.
Do you reckon that's where she originated from, maybe? Or
Got a distress call coming in. Some folks asking for help. The call's for Inara.
I'll take it in my shuttle. It sounds like something this crew can handle. I can't guarantee they'll handle it particularly well, but
it's going to be a classic Western type story, isn't it?
I think so.
Who'd have thought we'd both end up all the way out here?
who'd have thought? I suppose you heard most of that.
Only 2 hours each. A whole house full of companions.
They're not companions.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. See?
If you agree to do this, you'll be compensated. I'll see to it. I've put a little aside.
You can keep your money.
Well, thank you.
he's a good egg mal, isn't he?
But you will be paid. I feel it's important that we keep ours strictly a business arrangement.
As has been stated, this job is strictly speculative.
Good. Don't know these folks, don't much care to.
He's not wearing his hat.
This is my first mate, Zoe. I'll introduce you to the rest later. They're good folk.
Can I start getting sexed already?
Oh, there's men there as well.
I wonder if they service girl folk at all.
Let's not ask. This is Pedaline.
Yes, sir.
You think the kid is his?
I think it's Pedaline's. Well, he did favor Pedaline pretty exclusively, but she had others. His barren prairie shrew can't bear him an heir, so he takes it into his head to pull it at us. Keeps people living like this so he can play cowboy. Be the one with the best toys.
Yeah, sounds like a fun guy. I'd like to meet him.
Well, he'll be at the theater tonight, that's a certainty.
So am I.
I don't think I know you.
Name's Malcolm. Malcolm Reynolds. Didn't think weapons such as this were generally legal.
Bending one unjust law is a small thing when it comes to protecting one's family.
Rance?
The DNA
Oh.
matches.
We run. Math just don't add up. Our weapon stores aren't exactly overpowering at the moment, and I don't much like what we'd be up against. Nothing worse than a monster who thinks he's right with God. Won't stop till he gets what he thinks is his.
I understand, Captain Reynolds.
We run. We, my people, your people, and whatever bits of precious you got in this house you can't bear to part with. We load up Serenity, and we leave Burgess in the dust.
She's not going to do that.
Captain Reynolds, it took me years to cut this piece of territory out of other men's hands. Rance Burgess is just a man. And I won't let any man take what's mine.
Am I kind of stupid?
I was about to say she's a bit like
Hell,
him.
He ain't expecting much of a fight. Might be we catch him with his drawers low.
I'm fair-handed with the hammer, Captain.
That's so, Shepard. Okay, then. We start shooting. He'll most like try to burn us out, save us sweat and bullets. Kaylee, think you could swing an upgrade for their waterworks?
I'll talk to Serenity, see what she's got we might use.
Good. We might want to scrounge up.
Starting.
Yeah, that it is, but time is on the enemy's side.
Don't you, Tam?
Oh, here we
Oh, she did
go.
a pregnancy was...
Okay, nobody panic. It's gonna be okay. It'll be all right. I got this one, Captain.
The girls and I have been talking, Shepard.
No!
One here's gonna die.
There's people gonna die. When the time comes, most important thing, keep your wits about you. Alrighty then.
Do you think Jane's found love?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure now is the best time to bring a tiny little helpless person into our lives.
You and I would make one beautiful baby, and I want to meet that child one day.
I trained as a companion, remember? I read people pretty well. She's a hell of a woman, ain't she? Inara. Did she ever tell you why she left Sanaa? I was gone long before, and I'll tell you, it was a shock her leaving. She was special. She's like you more than a little.
And how exactly is that?
She hates complications.
What's he saying? It's gonna be a little while, sweetie.
It's gonna be a long night.
Great, Doctor.
And that's when it occurred to me that a companion's life might just be a little too constricting. There's no guild out here. They let the men run the houses and they don't ask for references.
You are a remarkable woman. You don't mind my saying.
As long as it's you saying it, not my fine rice
I think he might still be a little bit sore from Inara saying about their whole thing is only a business relationship.
Yeah.
You know?
So Malcolm, I've been waiting for you to kiss me since I showed you my guns.
Oh dear.
I'm just waiting to see if I pass out.
Okay, little
Long story.
throwback there.
So the horse got herself a champion, has she?
Reynolds.
Oh,
Malcolm Reynolds.
no, the informant.
Insider.
Yes, I've met the man.
Seems the Heart of Gold's got itself a few mercenaries. Guess we best call the whole thing off.
Oh, they got a lot of men.
They have my child held hostage to their decadent ways, and that I will not abide.
I didn't expect that to
No, I
happen.
didn't either. Should be outside.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh.
Well,
You know, I was up. I thinking.
so you took to bed with Nandy. I'm glad. She's a dear friend and probably in need of some comfort about now.
I just didn't want you thinking.
I wouldn't say I'm entirely okay. I'm a little appalled at her taste.
Oh
bless
dear.
her.
Do you reckon that's ruined it now? Completely?
Good. Remember, shoot the man, not the horse. Dead horse is cover. Live horse, great pile of panic.
It's a long labour.
Stronger than this thing, honey. I can feel it in your grip.
Inara, I thought it was just him that...
Nandy, believe me, I'll be fine.
Jeez, look at that thing.
You didn't give me the whole truth now.
About what?
About her feelings for you.
He doesn't know.
I love the juxtaposition of the guys on horseback and the guy in the hover car.
Okay, folks. We got no shortage of ugly riding in on us, but that don't change the plan.
Copy that,
Oh
Mal.
shit.
Oh shit.
Oh, they've been on the ship already.
He's channeling Dr. Robotnik from the new Sonic films.
He is. That guy, I've never had any day as happy as that guy's having right there.
Jane, I do believe that's our first hurdle.
There we go.
Oh, not anymore. Oh, she opened the door for him. Yeah. Oh, trapping him in the middle.
Set him on fire.
Good morning, Petalene. How's my boy?
Most of you men are either dead, dying, or run off.
This is my blood, woman.
No.
Oh.
This is your blood.
Oh, she just got point blanked. I think they're both pretty human.
Inara looks a bit.
You're gonna pay for what you took.
Oh.
Jonah, say hi to your dad.
Oh.
Last two episodes have had like a funeral at the end.
I think those girls will do all right.
She taught them well. I'm glad you were with her. Her last night.
Yeah, I wish I never met her. And I wouldn't have failed her.
Well, I'm still glad.
So you weren't before?
I learned something from Nandy. There's something I should have done a long while ago. I'm leaving.
Gutted. Look at him. Okay, so that was Heart of Gold. Let's take a moment and then let's have a little chat about the episode. Okay, so that was Heart of Gold, episode 13. Only one to go after this one. It was a pretty straightforward story again. A character called Rance Burgess, I wrote his name down as, who was kind of the guy in charge of this kind of outer rim planet. Knocked up one of the girls at the Heart of Gold bordello, I guess, wanted to take the baby. Obviously, the girl did not want to give the baby up to him. So one of Inara's old friends called on the help of Inara and the crew to come and help with the situation, which led to Mal having a very similar view on his crewmates as she does with her girls at the bordello, and realizing that he had quite a lot in common with Nandi. The two sleeping together, and us really getting to see a little bit about Inara's real feelings. Of course, we got a huge firefight. In the end, the good guys won. Burgess got a bullet in the head, or a laser in the head, and the crew left. But just before the end of the episode, we found out that Inara had decided she was going to leave the Serenity and go and find somewhere else because she felt like she was getting too close, too attached to everybody there, too reliant on them. What did you guys think of this one?
I liked it. Yeah. Nice, enjoyable episode. I like a mix of the action and like Firefly, you get quite a lot of funny moments as well, especially from Jane. I quite like the emotional side to it as well, especially with Inara at the end.
We had a couple of these in a row, you mentioned, haven't we? We've had two episodes.
Had the funeral, kind of the
funeral.
two funerals at the end, and it's also interesting. I quite like seeing Mal letting go. That's probably the first time he's like kind of relaxed to that point, isn't it? Where he's never really been like that, has he? He's always been quite straight on guard.
Yeah, he's always kind of kept the guard up, hasn't he, really, for the most part.
No, I quite like that, but I don't know, one episode left.
I enjoyed this one. It was a pretty, standard episode, but it was an enjoyable episode. There was some good, it had a lot of all the key moments, right? It had some action, it had some good comedy moments, it had a little bit of character development in there. So it kind of ticked all the boxes of what I'm expecting from a Firefly episode. Yeah. What about you, Brass?
Yeah, no, exactly the same. Standard episode in terms of, the stuff that you guys have been saying, but obviously it felt like the right setting or story to move the Mal and Inara story forward.
Yeah, that was kind of the main progression that we saw, wasn't it, really? And also, so I mean, let's jump back to the start and see if there's any standout moments. We found out at the very start that this guy had this Rance Burgess had got one of the girls from the brothel called the Heart of Gold, tying into a few more character side of things as the episode went on. Finding out that he had got one of the girls pregnant to have, I think they said, and I missed this, I think they said that basically his wife couldn't have a baby, so he wanted an heir, so had gone to one of the local girls.
Yeah, I think that's...
who then went to Inara to try and get help. What was interesting here as well was that we found out that though we've had companions throughout the series, we found out that not all cool girls, prostitutes, are companions. Some of them operate outside of the what do they call it?
It's like some sort of guild, wasn't it?
They're not part of the guild.
Not licensed, as you'd probably...
Yeah, unlicensed.
Yeah, unlicensed, yeah. Which you'd expect.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Like
they're
poorer
not in the
areas,
guild,
yeah.
So that was interesting to see that you've got this kind of two levels of how people... Because obviously something we've always found throughout, right, is the kind of disrespect that this Burgess was giving the girls at the Heart of Gold. You'd never get away with treating Inara that way.
No.
We've seen throughout the series that that episode, one of the earlier episodes where Mal had the sword fight for Inara, she basically said that guy was going to be struck off ever being able to get another companion at all. No one would touch him. Yeah. But this was very different, right? This was very much old Wild West style, where the women there initially seemed to not have much power, but obviously by the end of the episode we saw the other side of that.
Yeah, a bit like a Western whorehouse.
The setting was pure Western. It was I loved it.
I loved it. It reminded me a little bit as well with all the women there taking up arms. It reminded me a little bit. Do you remember that TV series Godless that came out a few years back?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you should watch it. Basically, it's like a Western, but it's a lot of the men got killed.
Right.
So it's just like they're women there, and they kind of defend themselves. And
yeah. I mean, obviously, Firefly, is 50% Western all the time. This was a very heavy Western run, right? It was that Western style town. I think they even made a comment about Burgess was basically keeping them in this even less progressed than a lot of areas, making it almost like his own little Westworld.
On to some degree, reminding me of Roadhouse. Roadhouse, the Patrick Swayze film, in that sense, which is very Western in its sort of setting, and small town, but one guy sort of
comes to kind of help.
But the one guy that sort of runs basically, even though it's not probably legally in the sense of he owns the businesses, but sort of with his manpower and his stature and
exactly. He's one of those kind of local heavy mobster types who offers protection parentheses and that sort of thing.
Yeah, well,
of course,
I was about to say, if you took the foil off the house and that guy's Land Cruiser and gun, that was it, wasn't it? It was pretty much. It was a Western, because even Serenity was hidden away the whole time.
Yeah,
you know, you only ever saw like a little bit, just like behind a rock.
Yeah,
you know.
We also got another good moment, which I can't believe that I was waiting for it to happen, and then I missed it because I was too busy thinking about Jane's hat from last episode. Jane was refusing to help. Because obviously this was very much given as a, look, come and help if you want. If you don't want to help, you don't have to get involved, Mal had said to the crew. And we were just waiting for Jane to... Because Jane was very adamant he wasn't helping. Yeah. And we were like, Jane not going to help the prostitutes. I can't imagine this. But as soon as he found out they were prostitutes, he was well in. I'm just annoyed I missed the joke.
It's when he put his nice shirt on, that's what made me laugh.
Yeah.
Standard, yeah.
Jane makes me laugh without saying anything. Like, his looks... are always perfect, like the little side-eye glances, when he's excited he has that kind of like childish excitement, which is like a funny juxtaposition because he's quite a big strong guy, but when he sees something that excites him he's just well happy about it, like. And he's very funny. Like, his comedy timing is great. I think we got to see about as close to Jane finding love as we'll ever find in this episode.
That's probably as close as he will ever find it as well.
I was half expecting him to be trying to bring the girl with him at the end of the episode. That's what I was expecting. That one girl he was with throughout the episode.
Like, what's his name in Masters of the Universe? The copper.
Oh, yeah, when the police officer leaves.
Yeah, he stays there.
Yeah. That's
stays
so
with,
random, isn't it?
Not Evelyn, is it? It's the, is that Evelyn?
No, it was just some random attorney and the woman.
A random one? I didn't know if it was.
Anyway, that's a random
there you
reference.
Go, segue.
Yeah.
Obviously, after Mao has his first run-in with Burgess, like, he's nervous, right? He said he wants to look this guy in the eye, and he realises that this guy probably is...
dangerous.
Does mean what he says. You know, he is someone to be watched out for. He's clearly got money behind what he does. He's got a weapon that's way more advanced than anyone even in the Alliance has got.
It's a violent psychopath with money behind him.
Exactly.
But he didn't really bring that many people to the fight. When you consider the fact that they were out in the open, I mean, maybe he just undervalues Hawes or like has got such a negative or sort of low opinion of them. He just sort of just arrogant stuff will easily beat them, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think part of that's also got to come down to this part of like budgetary constraints, as well.
But also, but also I was just about to say about the crew when the double crosser, I think it was, and then they went back to them and they were talking about who's this Mal guy brought with him, and I think they said he's like only two fighters or whatever. It's like, well, who were they? Which ones was he talking about? He's always talking about Jane, right? And then Zoe.
I assume Jane and Zoe.
That's what I presume, Jane and Zoe.
You know what I just realised? Something that we didn't get addressed, and this is jumping way forwards. At the end of the episode, they had a load of guys stuck on their ship that they trapped on there that were very angry with AK-47s.
Oh, yeah,
I assume they just laid down their arms.
I assume they just got let go. Yeah.
I assume they laid down their arms after that guy had been shot. Yeah. Something that came up in this episode, I think it has come up once before. I wonder if it would have played a part had the series gone on longer. Was Zoe and Wash talk about having a baby themselves?
Yeah.
You know, would we a couple of seasons down the line have seen a baby on the Serenity? Would that have been a thing that had factored in somewhere? You'd almost think they'd be the other way around.
Yes,
wouldn't
you? Yeah.
Like,
of course, yeah. It would be washed. It would happen. Yeah. It would have happened if it carried on. And yes, Wash would have been the maternal figure.
Yeah, it's interesting that because that kind of ties into last episode as well in the message. Where the guy that they used to run with, right? He was called like Lindsay or something like that, wasn't he? Where he made a comment about he couldn't believe that Zoe would be married because that's the kind, she's not like that.
Yeah.
And now you've got Zoe also wanting to have a baby as well. So you can kind of see. You can kind of see how she's changed and progressed. One of the other things I wrote down as well is it was interesting to see how much Nandi was like Mal, like in their own ways, right? Like they've each got their own groups, which they're very much the parental figure of. They're very protective of their groups. You can see how they've kind of like forged their own way.
Yeah.
So it was no real surprise to kind of see that pair come together. No pun intended.
Yeah.
From their conversations, we also got to see a little bit of. We didn't get any more information, but they kind of built on the mystery a little bit more about why Inara left wherever she used to be based as a companion and moved to this outer rim area.
It sounds like things got complicated, right?
They said things got complicated. That she could have gone on to be the house priestess. apparently, which I guess is like, is their equivalent of like the madam or,
Yeah.
or whatever at that level within companions.
Well, she said how driven she was, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, I take from that, I don't think there's anything else more to say about that. I think she just wanted the simplicity of that life that she's got now, I guess.
I mean, could it tie into the... Because we saw at the end of the episode, right? She decides to when she realizes that she's become too attached to something, she leaves. Maybe that's why she left in the first place, wherever she was. Maybe she was realizing that she was too attached to that life, so went out to forge her own way, and now has realized she's become too reliant on Mal and the gang. I think maybe there's something back there.
Possibly,
when she was younger, she's worried about relying on other people.
Yeah, I think that's making an excuse. Like if we're saying it's because it's starting to become a bit more like what she was getting away from, but it's obviously all an excuse because it's obviously the feelings for Mal, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Because that is the first time. Like even if we didn't have that bit at the end or any of that stuff, the fact that we saw her straight after crying is the first time you've ever seen her react like that.
Yeah, I literally wrote that down. Yeah. I wrote Inara first time showing real emotion. Yeah. And part of her training
Deflecting,
is that she's very good at just putting on a very neutral or the face that you want.
Yeah.
Like, even when Mal walked out of the room, she instantly had the wall up, right, to defend herself, made a joke about Nandi just making poor choices. And it was only when she was alone, like a moment later, that, as you say, we really saw her properly break down.
Yeah.
I did like the little joke, actually, a little throwback to the first episode with Saffron when Mal kissed Nandi. He was like, I'm just checking to see if I'm going to pass out.
Yeah, and I like that.
Because we haven't really seen Mal have much luck with the through choice, really. We haven't seen Mal involved much in the romantic side of things.
But I don't think it's high on his radar, is it? I think this is the first time he's actually, and just happened to be with the person he actually does likes. Friend.
Or friend. Yeah. The thing was, it was quite interesting because she mentioned the fact, obviously, the reason she left being a companion was because of her quite impulsive nature. We spoke about smashing something up, which again is something else that's a little bit more like Mal in her ways. She's got that slight impulsiveness, so hardly a surprise that those two came together.
Yeah, if Inara wasn't in the picture, you could actually see them having some form of relationship quite easily.
If she wasn't dead,
Well, if she wasn't dead, but they were very well matched.
Yeah, they were. And something else that was interesting was that Nandi instantly knew when she walked into the room where Inara was talking to the girl giving birth, that even without really speaking to her, she instantly knew that she'd hurt Inara. Yeah. Because those guys, they're just so good at reading each other's emotions. Yeah. So we're getting towards the end of the episode there. What did you guys think of the fight, the shootout? They got some slow-mo in there, right? They started using the slow-mo this episode.
Got some rolls in, got some slow-mo jumps. And
it's what you expect, isn't it, from it? I mean?
Yeah.
It's got that kind of I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's got that kind of before TV shows got really high budget like they are nowadays, that kind of fun, quite low budget shootout style to it. Lots of people popping up and firing a gun and ducking down again, and somebody falling off a horse, and it served the purpose, right? It was fun enough.
Yeah, it was good. It was good fun.
I mean, imagine,
and we got to see a laser gun cutting through a wall. Yeah. So that was good.
Imagine. I wonder if Serenity will ever come back with a budget, because doing it, I guess, doing the newer Star, especially Force Awakens, Star Wars, where it's they've kept a lot of the practical stuff.
Yeah, they merged the practical and the digital.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be pretty cool. Yeah. Anyway, that's a discussion maybe for another time. But
no, that was cool though. I would like to see her. So one other thing that obviously Burgess killed Nandi. They ended up in a bit of a standoff after the sort of betrayer let him into the room trying to get the baby. Inara put a knife to his throat, managed to get the baby back, but he killed Nandi, and you could just see how pissed the two of them were, right? Both Inara and Mal, because they both had their connection to this woman. Yeah. And Mal had his kind of Indiana Jones moment.
I love that.
Chasing him. Now, the last thing that I really mentioned is that I thought there was a nice moment in here. A nice a character moment was that Burgess basically said, "Oh, what did she matter? She was just a whore." And you could see in that moment that Mal kind of realised that his constant use of calling Inara a whore and all this, like, throughout, right, because it is always something that they've come back to, really was, like, super derogatory to these people. I mean, we already knew this, but it seemed like it was finally something that he realised now that, you know, they are people too, right? Like, again, this is not a shock revelation for us, but it seemed like for his character, he realised that for a moment there that he talks about Inara in the same way as Burgess talks about these women. I feel like this would probably be the last time we would hear Mal calling Inara or any of these other people whores.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. That's a good point.
It's just a shame that we, you know, things like that we won't get to see more development on. So, and then we got to see, of course, the baby's mum. Can't remember the baby's mum's name. I don't know if it really came up. Taking no shit, I wrote down. When they brought Burgess back.
Say hello to your dad. Bang.
Say
goodbye.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Just like dealing with the situation.
Yeah.
So maybe, you know, but you can see, right, that even though Nandi isn't there anymore, these women aren't, like, they're not to be fucked with, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, they know how to protect themselves and protect what's important to them. And you saw her go from being, like, in that final moment where she was very strong to being how quite meek she was at the beginning when they dragged her out to, like, check the DNA of the baby and the like. Then, of course, we got to see the crew leaving and the little revelation that we've already spoken about. We saw, really, that Nandi and Inara both view their own crews as their family in their own ways, and they're very codependent on them. You know, they're a part of them. They make them stronger, but I guess at the same time weaker. But, you know, the real, you know, this was Inara's reason for leaving, but obviously, you know, the real reason is that she's still hurting, right? Or she's concerned about getting any closer to these people. She's probably felt a bit of hurt from what happened with Mal and Nandi there, and has realised that she doesn't want to open herself up to any more of them.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I think the crew part of it is secondary. I think the Mal thing's the big thing she's finally realised. So, so it'll be interesting to know. Interesting to see the next episode, what her, like, because it's the last episode of the series,
how their
right?
relationship is. So, and that's the thing. The next episode is also the last episode. So, you know, we've got one more episode then,
the film,
which is called Objects in Space, apparently. Objects in Space is the next episode, which we'll be covering next week. Then we've got the film, but as I mentioned, I'm sure I saw a comment from someone saying that there was something we should watch before the movie. So if that is the case, please let us know below. Thank you for watching this episode. If you've enjoyed it, please leave a comment, a sub, a like, all that stuff.
Do
let
it
us
all.
know your favourite bits of the episode. Do it all.
Do all the stuff.
You can have
it.
All the stuff and the things. You can go over to allmaverick.com where you can check out our videos, our blogs, our podcasts. You can go to twitch.tv/allmaverick live where we do live streams twice a week, 9 p.m. British times, playing some of our favourite games. But make sure you go to the website and check out some of our blogs and news pieces, because there's loads going out there now. We've also got a Discord server, which is going to probably have a link down in the description.
Yeah.
So if you go and have a look
come
at
and
that,
say hello.
you can join. Yeah, come and say hello. Talk to us about some of your other favourite TV shows. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode. We'll be back next week with Objects in Space, episode 14, and the final episode of Firefly.
Awesome.
All right, everybody.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
We'll see
Bye.
you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.